Let your soul walk with me for a moment, because there is something strange about the human condition that most people never notice. By the time a person reaches this stage, the battle is no longer between truth and falsehood. The battle is between humility and ego. In the previous step, you began seeing how corruption can become so normal that people no longer recognize it within themselves. But now, in stage 2, step 12, the condition becomes even deeper. The person not only fails to recognize the problem, they begin looking down on those who can. Think about how often people judge something before truly understanding it. A person sees sincerity and calls it weakness. They see humility and call it insecurity. They see faith and call it ignorance. Yet all of these judgments are being made through a lens they never stop to examine, the lens of their own ego. One of the greatest illusions a human being can experience is believing that intelligence automatically leads to truth. History proves otherwise. Some of the most educated minds have made disastrous decisions. Some of the most powerful people have destroyed themselves through pride. Knowledge alone has never guaranteed wisdom. In fact, when knowledge combines with arrogance, it often creates a person who becomes harder to guide than someone who knows very little. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to admit you were wrong about something? Even when evidence becomes obvious, something inside resists. Something wants to defend the old belief, the old identity, the old version of yourself. That resistance is not coming from truth. It is coming from attachment. And the more attached a person becomes to their own image, the less capable they become of seeing reality clearly. Eventually, they stop asking whether something is true. They only ask whether it agrees with what they already believe. The search for truth quietly turns into the search for validation. This is where many people become trapped without realizing it. They surround themselves with voices that agree with them. They avoid discomfort. They avoid correction. They avoid reflection. And slowly they begin living inside a reality built entirely from their own preferences. The world becomes smaller, yet they feel more certain than ever. What makes this condition dangerous is that certainty feels powerful. It feels safe. It feels intelligent. Yet some of the greatest mistakes in human history were committed by people who were absolutely convinced they were right. Confidence has never been proof of truth. Look closely at human behavior, and you will notice a pattern. The people who grow the most are usually the ones willing to question themselves. They remain teachable. They remain open. They remain aware that they could be wrong. This humility protects them from becoming prisoners of their own ego. The opposite is also true. The moment a person begins believing they have nothing left to learn, growth starts dying. Reflection becomes unnecessary. Guidance becomes unwanted. Advice becomes offensive. Every correction feels like an attack because the ego interprets it as a threat. This is why some people can stand directly in front of wisdom and still walk away unchanged. The problem is not that wisdom failed to reach them. The problem is that their pride was already standing between them and the truth. And over time, something remarkable begins happening. The person starts reversing reality itself. The very qualities that could save them begin appearing foolish. Sincerity looks naive. Humility looks weak. Faith looks irrational. Meanwhile, pride looks intelligent. Arrogance looks strong. Self-deception looks like confidence. The tragedy is that this reversal feels completely normal from the inside. The person does not wake up one day and decide to reject truth. It happens gradually. Small compromises, small assumptions, small acts of pride, until eventually they begin seeing the world through a distorted lens without even realizing it. You can see traces of this everywhere. People mock values that once gave meaning to life. They ridicule principles that protected societies for generations. They dismiss guidance before understanding it. Not because they have carefully examined the truth, but because their ego has already decided what deserves respect and what deserves rejection. Yet the soul was never created to thrive on pride. Deep down, every human being knows this. The moments of greatest growth rarely come from proving ourselves right. They come from surrendering to something greater than ourselves. They come from recognizing that truth does not belong to us. We belong to the truth. And if you pay attention, you may notice something within yourself even now. The part of you that still reflects, the part of you that still questions, the part of you that still wants what is real more than what is comfortable. That part of you is precious, because many people slowly lose connection with it without ever noticing. And when it is said to them, "Believe as the people believe," they answer, "Shall we believe as the fools believe?" Unquestionably, it is they who are the fools, but they know it not. Not simply as a statement about people from the past, but as a warning about what pride can do to the human heart. A person can become so convinced of their own understanding that they begin mocking the very qualities capable of guiding them. They mistake humility for foolishness and ego for wisdom, never realizing the reversal that has taken place within them. This verse was revealed by Allah to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to expose one of the most subtle forms of self-deception. The belief that guidance is beneath you, the belief that sincere believers are less intelligent than those who reject faith. Yet throughout history, Allah repeatedly sent messengers to remind humanity that truth is not measured by status, popularity, intellect, or pride. Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and finally, Muhammad, peace be upon them all, carried the same message. The human being rises not by worshipping the ego, but by surrendering to the one who created it. If these words feel familiar, if they seem to describe something you have witnessed within yourself or around you, then perhaps there is a reason this message reached you. Perhaps your soul still recognizes what many people overlook. And if you truly seek success in this life and the next, then bear witness that there is no God except Allah, the only true Lord worthy of worship, and Muhammad, peace be upon him, is his final messenger. Because true wisdom begins when pride stops asking how superior it appears, and the soul begins asking where the truth really leads.